Hello, my name is Nelson Delgado. I'm a certified energy psychologist who practices the emotion code and body code form of therapy, along with integrating divination systems to help realign, bring clarity to your life and what brings you flow and resistance. In this video, in regards to emotional intelligence, we'll be talking about anger. Now, anger is often given a bad rap because of its violent nature. But when you look at nature, if it wasn't for violent eruptions, volcanoes, magma, so on and so forth, there wouldn't be any land, there wouldn't be any minerals, water couldn't permeate it, create vegetation, and so on and so forth. So the fire energy is creative. Now, at the same time, when we think of anger, we think of abuse and so on and so forth, emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual abuse. But anger is also, it's got levels. So therefore, there's healthy levels, which essentially provoke within us a need for honor and conviction towards a goal or something we want to create in our lives or in the world. It fuels healthy self-esteem. It establishes boundaries with others when things, so that no one's crossing them, or there's a sense of respect, mutual respect that is shared between two people. It also helps fuel and foster a healthy sense of detachment from situations that don't serve us anymore. So if we honor it, then we're not going to invoke another type of emotion, which would be sadness, if we keep persisting with the same patterns that lead to more resistance. And lastly, it's to help us protect ourselves and others. So when we're using healthy amounts of anger, we're essentially, we want to create a space where, as much as possible, no one can be harmed. And so the challenge with that is that when we have a lot of unresolved anger, it compounds. And with children can get angry all the time, but the one thing you'll notice about them is that when they're angry, they vent. And as we get older, we're told, don't, bring that energy around me, or, keep it down, or we're never told to, go out, get some exercise outside, or take your frustrations out elsewhere. Go ride a bike, go to the gym, scream into a pillow, anything that you can vent your energy to. We weren't really told to do that. We were mostly told and conditioned to contain it. And what ends up happening is like a volcano, enough pressure's there, it builds and builds and builds to it explodes. And then eventually creates damage to an established environment. So the last thing we want to do is be like Mount Vesuvius and just destroy a whole town and civilization. So when it comes down to questions that anger is trying to ask us, it's what do I value and what must be protected and restored. So when you finally understand what's important to you, and you assess that it is worth protecting. It could be your child. It could be a principle that you adhere to for life, that has done well for you and others in the past. It could be protecting your need for dignity and respect and proper treatment from others. Those things, and even your sense of self-worth, that should be protected. All of those things are valid. Now, if we're trying to protect a means to which we can control a situation, then we might want to ask the question is, why is this important to control the situation? And what do I need to understand before I take action? Because that's really what anger is doing, it can be a very heart or midsection oriented, feeling. And if we're hurt, then we want to defend ourselves or maybe seek retribution, and that may not be the best avenue, when all you really need to do is find out and understand why someone would want to treat you that way, say those things. Where does that come from? Because that statement of hurt people hurt other people is something that we need to bring up when we're feeling anger. So if we're feeling hurt, before we hurt somebody else, what do we need to do before we go too far? But when we understand what's going on inside of us and why we're reacting the way we are, we can understand if there's anything that needs to be healed, or if there's anything that needs, if there's a constructive dialogue that's necessary between two people in order to establish understanding before conflict does arise. So when both people's needs are met, great. But if the needs are one-sided, and at that point, then it's, again, the healthy detachment part comes in, and you do what you have to do in order to, reduce the amount of exposure to a situation that would be considered volatile or unpleasant as much as possible. If you're at an impasse with someone, whether it be coworker, friend, relative, even your kids, if you can. So I hope you appreciate this video. There'll be some more down below in the caption, as well as some links. And if you like this video and you find it very useful and helpful, you can always like, subscribe, share with a friend, and you can also check out the links down below. And thank you very much for spending time with me today, and learning more about anger and what it has to offer you that's not negative at all. It's constructive.